Hello everyone, Jessicann here. I am so excited about this new series on shopping for a new or used car. As some of you might know, a couple weeks ago, I purchased a new car. I was really intimidated going into it because I had never purchased a new car before. And so I've never been to a dealership. I've never looked into financing a car. I've never negotiated with the dealer. So I was very scared actually. So I went ahead and did a lot of research before going through the process, and I want to share all of the things that I learned and some of my tips for you all if you're looking to buy a new or used car. So I know that it's going to be a lot of information for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it up into multiple small, short episodes to make the information easily digestible, because the last thing we want is for you to go into this process feeling overwhelmed and scared. You should be excited. You're looking to buy a new car. So to kick it all off, we're going to talk about something really simple, simply shopping for a new car. How to narrow it down, what kind of make and model you want, what kind of features you're looking for, how to shop first online and over the phone, and then in person, and then lastly, we'll loosely touch on negotiating price and buying versus leasing. So the first thing you want to do is narrow down the type of car you're looking for. You can consider things like the features. So for me, I knew I wanted something that was a little bit more sporty but still compact, so I was looking specifically for a hatchback. Things like GPS and rear view camera were not as important to me because I've lived my life for many years without them. A moonroof was, a nice to have, but not a must have. And lastly, I knew that I wanted a gray car, so that made my life a little easier in searching. The second thing you'll want to consider is what you'll be using the car for. So for me, I have a pretty long commute, and so I knew I wanted to look for a smaller car with better fuel economy, but at the same time, something that's really reliable and safe on the road. The third thing you'll want to consider is your finances and how much you actually want to spend on this new car. So I looked at my income, I considered my monthly expenses, and I really calculated how much a month I would want to make on a car payment. Now that is if you are buying or leasing a car, because you will likely, unless you have a bunch of money saved up, be making payments on your car. And so do some calculation ahead of time so you know going into this process how much you want to spend. And also consider things like car insurance. So for me, my old Jetta only had liability insurance, which was pretty affordable, but now with my new car, I had to look for full coverage. So there are a couple things to consider on top of purchasing a new car. So now that you've narrowed down the type of car you're looking for and ideally how much you'd like to spend, it's time to start shopping. Now, before you head into the dealership, you want to do some shopping online first to just kind of get a sense for how much the car is going for. To do this, you'll simply go online and do a Google search of the make and model of the car that you're looking for. Now, the first price you'll likely see pop up is the MSRP. This is the manufacturer's suggested retail price, aka the retail price. So this is the price that the manufacturer is telling the dealership how much to sell the car for. But you should keep in mind that ultimately the dealer determines the price of the car, so it's open to negotiations. So with the retail price in mind, you're going to go ahead and start searching for dealerships in your area. And this is just like looking for anything online. You can search by zip code and see if the car you want is actually in stock, and then you can get a sense for what the price is at different dealerships. Generally speaking, it's not going to vary too much in your immediate area. That's why I encourage you to search kind of farther, because I did find in my own experience that the prices were pretty different. So after you've looked at different dealerships' websites, this is where the pre-negotiations can start. You can either give them a call, or as I've found, many websites have chat options or even texting options where you can engage with a sales associate to get some initial pricing and do some initial negotiations. But keep in mind to keep a paper trail, whether it's a quote that's emailed to you or a text chain, so that you can bring this into the dealership and you can hold them to that price. I will talk more about this in the next few episodes, but generally speaking, you should do some shopping online first before you head into the dealership. All right, so now's the fun part. You've done your online shopping and you're feeling prepared to go into the dealership to test drive your car and potentially drive it off the lot. So what happens when you go to a dealership? Basically, you're gonna walk in there and you're going to tell them which make and model you wanna check out, and they're going to offer you to test drive it. And don't feel intimidated when you go in there. Know that you did your research, you have a couple of initial prices to keep in your back pocket, and just be excited because you could leave there with your new car. But pro tip, don't be too excited because then the dealer will think that you will accept any price that they throw at you. But with that being said, don't be discouraged if you can't negotiate the price that you want right off the bat. Be prepared to potentially leave there without a car because you're still shopping around. So be patient with yourself, be patient with the process. I know I definitely had to be, and definitely don't be too hasty with your decision making because the last thing you want is to buy a car and potentially be ripped off. When you're doing your test drive, make sure to be really thorough about it. Really get a sense for how the car drives and ask the dealer about the features and what can be upgraded. So when I went and drove my Mazda 3 Sport, I actually asked about the Touring and the Grand Touring just so I kind of knew what else was out there, both of which had more horsepower and better features like all leather seats, moonroof, GPS, rear view camera, yada yada yada. So now that you've driven the car and you're still interested, the dealer is going to take you back to the dealership, back into his or her office, and you're going to sit and you're going to talk numbers, which can be really intimidating, but I promise you it's really not. And I will cover negotiations in my next episode. I just wanted to keep this episode short and simple and give you a general overview of what shopping for a new car is like. And I wanted to just put a disclaimer out there that this is just my learnings from my first experience of shopping for a new car, and so please don't write any hateful comments saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just what I learned. I'm not an expert. And please, if you have gone through this process many times and have tips to share, leave them in the comments below. All right, I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!